Let's begin. Imagine Games. All the music in the game also made by me throughout various years. So Rule the World is a 4-player local multiplayer game. You can play it with a keyboard, with a controller or keyboard and mouse. And you can play it on the computer at the moment, but the target consoles are for Xbox and Sony PlayStation, and maybe one day the Switch. Right now it's a pretty demanding game, so that's why I'm targeting these higher end consoles. The Switch is kind of underpowered. So you begin selecting your character. 4 people can do this, and your character progresses as you progress through the campaign mode. So here you enter the campaign mode, and you and up to 4 players can navigate around Earth. So if another player is playing with you, you will all be orbiting around Earth, and the moment that any one of you gets too far from each other, the screen will split into 2 or 3 or 4 depending on how many players you have. So right now we have one level that's considered done, still lacks a lot of polishing, and we have another level that's still under construction, but I actually want to show you this new one because I believe it's a lot different than the other one, although you haven't seen the other one, but doesn't matter. I want to show you this one because it's the one I've been working on, and it's the freshest one. So when you guys enter the mission, there will be a little cutscene where you're exiting from the spacecraft and going into your target destination, which right now is somewhere in the Arctic. The game is set a little bit in the future, so it gives me a lot of space to recreate locations as I see fit. Don't have to be true to any current geography, because anything could have changed after World War III, you know. Hopefully it doesn't happen, but you know, this is a fictional game. So here you're given a little challenge. You skydive in, get some rings, and this is actually inspired from a 90s era game. So here you go, you skydive in, and players can compete, you know, to go through the little rings, the little spheres. One thing unique about this game that you won't find in any other game is that you have this rotating camera, and you can play with up to 4 players. You can activate split screen at any time, or you can play via a shared screen in which you'll be given this fixed camera angle so that all 4 players can be on the same screen without any splits. Now that's going to be dependent on the size of your screen and how you prefer to play with your buddies. So that's something no other game has at the moment, at least that I'm aware of. And if they do, they copied it from me. I'm just kidding. But here we go. So there's some platforming going on here. Platforming is a genre of games where you platform, jump over platforms and stuff. Inspired, I think the first platformers, or at least the first famous one, was Super Mario on the Nintendo. So this is that genre here. Yes, there was also a bear chasing me, a polar bear, and I could have eliminated him, but I'm actually thinking of working in a system where you're not incentivized, did I say that right, to harm animals. Although a lot of games let you harm animals and nothing happens to you or your character, so it's a question of free will. Anyways, here we're going to discover what's going on here in this mission. Now there is a mission briefing that is not yet introduced into this level, you can talk to somebody here, and the camera will switch down so you can have a more interactive dialogue. This area is heavily filled with rare earth crystal formations, especially underground. I guess that makes them kind of not so rare. Yeah. So you will have dialogue options as well. You'll be able to respond to that and say, okay, do you have any more useful information for me? At which point she will reveal something that you will need to know in order to progress through the mission. So talking to these characters in the game will be important for you. Right now I'm ice skating because the ice is slippery. It's literally slippery. There's physics and all. So let me activate a cheat code real quickly so we can pass all this stuff. Oh, this is gonna be a long video. So yeah, there's some more challenges there await you, and right now I'm flying on a surfboard. Here, there's some classic gameplay elements, such as the falling cliff. At least it's classic from my time. Oh, I didn't make it. Oh, took some damage there. And so there's a lot of realism to the game. You know, if you fall, you get hurt. If you're in the cold, freezing water for too long, you get hurt. And you also have weapons. So apologize for what you're about to see, but something's gonna go. Ooh. I took fall damage because I was cheating. That's what happens when you cheat. Winners never cheat. So the bears, the animals in this game, they've been infected by the mutant virus as well as most of humanity. So I guess that kind of makes it justifiable to eliminate them because they're extremely aggressive and they're out to get you. And this bridge also has physics, so if you jump on it, it'll move. And so all this is playable with 4 players. And there will be a lot of interesting things to do, like roll snowballs around. Just kidding. So at the end of this mission, after you pass all these challenges, this is just actually the first stage of this mission. Then you will proceed down. Yes, that's a sunken ship over there. You will proceed down into the next level. Cue some sound effects here. Boom, loading screen, and there you go. And so that's pretty much the core of the game, except for you didn't see much of the combat. There's a lot of combat in this game. There's a lot of enemies. I spent a couple of months just making enemies after enemies, waiting for stages to introduce them in. They didn't really fit much into context in the Arctic level because it's kind of a secret facility, and so, you know, if there's a bunch of enemies around there, they're going to be underground in that level, not on the surface. The story for this game it's still a work in progress as well, but the most important thing is gameplay. The story is pretty much about, you know, a couple of years in the future after World War III, some force of evil has, you know, infected most of humanity with the mutant virus. And it's very cliche, but it's also, I don't know, it's also very video gamey. So you have these guys here. Oh, these guys try to jump over bullets. These guys shoot bullets. And again, there's this little village here with people you can talk to. So you can talk to this guy, and he explains that he was hiding in the woods when the enemies came and started wiping out his village, and you should go rescue his princess. And there's also an inventory system that is unique that you will not see in other games, and that you don't need to pause the game at any moment to access it. And that's great because this is a 4-player game, so you don't want people pausing the game. I built that around experiencing other games where people are always pausing, and then one person's getting mad because he's like, I want to play, and the other one's like, oh, but I want to pause the game and look at my inventory. And there you have a reptilian. Or is it amphibian? I don't remember anything I've learned in my life anymore. All I know now is programming. No, he's a reptile. Come on, I know this. What about those guys? Those guys are robots. Robot life forms. And they will electrocute you. And they're coming off of the spacecraft here. There we go. Goodbye. Goodbye. Ooh, no. So you have lives and you have different difficulty modes. Some people enjoy a lot of challenge, and for them there's a mode where you only have one life and that's it, and you have to restart the level. For other people there's a mode with 5 lives, which currently right now is 10 lives, but I'm going to reduce it because it's a little too easy. This guy with a flamethrower seems out to get me. Dedicated. And then there's a casual mode because you know, some novice players want to try out the game. They don't want to get frustrated, or maybe you're a serious gamer but your wife isn't, or you know, your best friend isn't, and you guys just want to have a good time. Well, he can play on that easy mode and you can play on the normal mode. Try to make something that suits everybody. So here we have a series of challenges. We have some snipers guarding this laboratory, we should call it. And this laboratory actually is how the mutants are getting made. They're getting spawned. And so each time you damage one of its components like that, he's going to be downgraded. So now he no longer has that red hat, and he's actually, his AI is a little dumber, which is kind of why he's standing there. And if I damage it some more, he will become this completely dull, zombie-like creature, because he's not able to pass through all the whatever. You don't need to know this stuff. It's top secret. Just kidding. So after we pass this part, I'm gonna activate a cheat mode. Let's get this show on the road. Oh, there's an eagle coming for me. Oh wow. Get the key. You have to get a key because video games, you have to get keys. And, oh wow. These eagles are relentless. Alright. Hey. Just waiting for me. Also, the dynamics of combat is that you also have a blade. So, yes. Because nerds love blades. Although they lack the upper body strength to wield them. Just kidding. Alright, here we go. Proceeding on. And then this next level becomes the Labyrinth. And you have to find a key to get out of the labyrinth. So you look at the map and you have no idea where you're going, so you have to find your way around it. There's also lava because you're underground. There's a lot of jumping involved. If you fall in the lava, it hurts you and it takes away a life. So that's challenging in itself. And finding your way across this labyrinth also is. As well as that horde of enemies just waiting. Although since I'm developing the game, kind of have like unlimited bullets, so everything's pretty much simple. So okay, let's activate a cheat mode, speed this up. Where's the key? It's right there. Ooh, I died while I was on my surfboard. Interesting. So of course this surfboard is not part of the game. This is just a tool I use to get around quickly in the game. Come to think of it, I should have made a better tool. One that could fly over the enemies. But hey, it worked, so. So another unique thing about this game is that I could be going in one part of the maze and my buddies can be going to another part. They can be traversing through different locations and we can speed up the process of finding the key and then finding the exit. So a lot of games kind of limit where, when it's a multiplayer game locally, it kind of limit where people can go. So this is the boss stage for this level. And I'm just gonna speed this up a bit. I'm gonna fly across directly to the boss, fly through that wall. So he said I could take the crystal, but he was lying, as you can see. Just go ahead and take it, I won't hurt you. I actually prefer to play it like this, without the camera spinning around, because then I can use one of the sticks to move and the other one to aim, so I can like go backwards, and it's just a lot more tactical. He's not the brightest tool in the shed, although he is killing me, so that says lots about me. Yeah, he's not the easiest guy in the world. So okay, after you destroy him, take the crystal. This is a rare earth mining facility and they're using that energy. And so you have to deactivate it so you can foil their plot to take over the planet. And now we head to this rescue drone that's going in to save you. And this is a classic arcade style game where you just move left and right while the screen automatically goes. Except I introduced a couple of new concepts into it, and that you can actually go up. The trick about it though is that, so it doesn't get too easy, is that if you're up, they can detect you on the radar and the missiles will start flying towards you, so you're not encouraged to stay up here, and it's actually a lot harder than it seems with all those missiles flying at you. So you're encouraged to stay low in the canyons. And so that's it. Yeah, you get to the end of this one, and I'm not gonna go all the way to the end. Besides this, there's also a side-scrolling mode. So here is a very early concept of what would be New York or someplace around New York. And so here you are at a side-scrolling. It's more like a camera angle that you would see in a game like Mario. At least the earlier Marios. Now they're all 3D. So there's a lot of platforming going on. This is unfinished right now. Besides all this going around the world, there are also bonus missions here in the arcade mode. So here you can survive against waves of enemies, endless waves of enemies. So, for example, you have to survive for 1,000 game time units, which I currently don't know the equivalent in seconds, but I will change that to seconds and minutes eventually. So here you survive. Other modes. In any one of these modes you can play with 4 players. Oops. Oops. And platform race. This is just platforming. There's no enemies. Well, there are enemies, but you don't have a weapon to take them on. You just have to make it to the end. You can also swim. Try to see who gets there faster. But the water has physics and it slows you down, so you won't make it very far. So this is just jumping around and getting to the end and racing against your friends. And a lot of these modes will be procedurally generated, meaning that every time you play it, it's going to be different. And I actually have some of that coding already made. I have, before I show you that, there's also space flight, and as I said, 4 players can play this, and this is a bonus mode that 4 people can fight against each other in space. Now this is all placeholder art. This isn't a real ship that's going to be in the game, nor is this fire. It's very fake, but the Earth is there and you can fly around it. You really can. And it's space. And so pretty much this is just the programming is all in place, just the art needs to be improved for this. Besides that, there's also, this is why I've been taking 15 months to make this. There's also racing, because everybody likes racing. And these will be bonus missions at the end of a level. So for example, you eliminated an enemy base and then you have to get away from that base because it's going to explode. So you get into your vehicle and escape. I'm not going to use this blatant rip-off of Star Wars, this hover vehicle. This is placeholder art, as is this level, but the mechanics and the programming is all there, pretty much. So, it's a race. And, like I said, this is where I built it in Unreal Engine. It's what the pros use. And give you a taste of the procedurally generated level. Where did I place it? It's right here. So each time you play this, it's a different level. Although right now it all looks the same, I can show you that the coding for it, this is endless. So you get to the end of this level, and then there's a next one, and a next one, and a next one, and it never ends. That's kind of what procedural generation is about, and it's always random. So you never get the same 2 levels. So you get to the end of this level. Actually, I can press restart right now, and you'll see that it will generate a completely different level. See? See, it's completely different if you look at the map. Every time it's a completely different map. And you have to find the exit and go to the next level. So this is like a maze. And this is very early too. This dungeon is very simple. Very, very simple. But I've actually, right now I'm at a phase where I'm dedicating all of my efforts towards finishing the campaign levels, because what's taken me so much time is that I've been jumping from one part of this project to another, and now I'm just focusing on finishing the campaign, getting that done, and I'll probably release the game as a early access game, as they do, and we'll take it from there. There's also online. I have the online functions for it all built. 2 people can connect to each other online right now. That already works. I made another online game in about less than a month. I know everything it takes to make an online game. All about, you know, replication, making stuff work on the server and on the client. So I have done that before. I got into a crazy difficult bug in this game, and that frustrated me, and it made me want to start a whole new game, and that's what I did, and I made it online. And I didn't finish it because I actually solved the bug for this game, and I went back to this one because the first rule of game development is always ship your product. So I'm gonna finish this. That's it. That's pretty much what we have in store. Rule the world. The war to rule the world. Thanks for watching. Imagine Games.